The cast and crew here from Nuevo, and Mr. Bishop Gonzalez and the staff for providing the wonderful food. And here he is, the man of the hour, Mr. Menudo Garcia. Without the support of Blue Lac 102, this event could not be possible. Our first guest speaker is Mr. Kevin Lopez. He is on the city council from our neighbor to the north from Bridgeport. So we'll go ahead and let him talk. Thank you, sir.
Gracias. Buenos días, everybody. As he said, I'm city council member from Bridgeport, Texas. And, I wanted to first express appreciation. First, want to express appreciation to Menudo Garcia for inviting me here today and giving me this opportunity to speak before you all today. Blue Lac 102. It's a great honor and privilege. I'd like to also reiterate, I appreciate all the veterans today and all the service that they've had to our country. Great appreciation to all of y'all. Reasons, didn't really know exactly what to talk about, so I'm just going to talk about what has been going on in Bridgeport to the north. We don't get the exposure that the Bridgeports may get is what's happening there. One of the reasons that I ran for office was, as many people do, is to make a change and hopefully make a positive difference in their community. Our community, prior to me running, there was a predominantly oil and gas and sand and gravel. Those are our two main economic drivers in our city. And so the oil and gas industry took a downturn. A lot of people lost jobs. And through that, I recognize there's a need to diversify our economy, which we relied upon two main economic drivers. So when one goes, it's a huge negative impact. And so one of those things is, as a city leader, you want to create an economic environment that's conducive to bringing in different types of manufacturing or businesses. But those things take time. And so, but the people who have lost their jobs need jobs now. So one of the ways that I'm trying to do is bring trade classes to our community so that people can get trained in a skill and kind of move on to get a career or a stepping stone to another career. I feel it's my responsibility as an elected official to bring resources to my community so that to help each individual, both citizen and businesses, succeed at their individual goals, be it, like I said, trade classes or funding from entities like the Texas Workforce Commission to help them with costs that they've incurred throughout the year. And so kind of much like, I've been a firefighter for 14 years, and so learning with the city of Arlington, and so learning that craft, I kind of try to bring that philosophy of the fire service into the elected office, where, much like a fire officer, they provide resources and opportunity to each individual crew member to help them succeed at their craft. That way they can hone it. If the fire officer provides that type of opportunity to each crew member, then the whole crew succeeds, and that carries on to each different crew member, each crew, and so that they work efficiently and effective on the fire ground. So one of the things that I've been working with is the Texas Workforce Commission, Workforce Solutions, who's a liaison between the Texas Workforce Commission and the community. Having workforce seminars for those who were in the oil and gas industry that lost their jobs, specifically for those people. And so there's a grant from the Texas Workforce Commission where they can apply for the grant and go take a trade, either HVAC, welding, plumbing, and all the different trades. And so working with the community college out there, which is Weatherford College, but they're based out of Parker County, but they have a mobile campus in Wise County. And so some of the things that I've been able to do recently, I've been in communication with William Alvarez, the Commissioner of Labor with the Texas Workforce Commission. Him and Director Aaron Demerson, who's the Director over Employer Initiatives, came to Bridgeport, Texas to speak to our business community and the education community. And they were speaking to the business community about the funds, like I said, that are available to them through the Texas Workforce Commission to recoup costs that they've incurred throughout the year. But the other program is the apprenticeship program. That's a collaborative effort between the ISD, the local ISD, the EDC, Texas Workforce Commission, the city, and community college, whatever your community college is. And so what it is, they collaborate. We work with the ISD, get students, get them on the track with a education program, either welding, HVAC, it can be any number of things. But once they graduate from high school, then they have a career that they can go do with great career path, either something that they can open a business or it's a stepping stone into something better. College isn't for everybody. It wasn't for me. I ended up doing a trade. I'm a product of that, being a firefighter. And so one of the things with that's good is the ability to not accrue debt. And so they can have a good career and not have a huge debt. So, but along the way came the elections. With that, I kind of go back to providing resources to our community. With the election came a lot of fears because of the immigration issues that were being possibly repealed, like DACA, and then with our state and local legislation with SB 4. And as we all know here, that's just a horrible bill for a number of reasons. And working with the police department in Bridgeport, there's a number of things that are wrong with that. One being there's the possibility of racial profiling. And two, it separates the community from the police. So there's already a decrease in reporting of crimes amongst the community. And so these are things that concern the city leaders like me and the police department. And then the other thing is an unfunded mandate down to your local cities. And so requiring police officers to do things in a ICE capacity. And so, and then the other caveat in there, which I'm glad that this circuit took out, was the local elected officials like me would not have been able to speak about it in a negative fashion. So, you can hear me now. Thank you. So, that right there in itself was not. So, testing, okay. So, all in all, that bill was a bad bill. So, like I said before, as a elected official, it is my responsibility to provide resources. Bridgeport is 50% Latino, and so there were many concerns within my community, so I felt it a need to get information to them that is accurate, because during that time around the elections and during the legislative session, there was a lot of inaccurate information going around our community. So I felt it important to hold a civic engagement event in collaboration with the Catholic Charities, the Consulate General of Mexico out of Dallas, the law office at Eric Cedillo, and the local elections office. And so what they did was they, the law office at Eric Cedillo, they talked about the power of attorney, because at that time people were fearful of being deported back to the country of origin. And so what would happen then is, if you have a power of attorney, then if you have children who are American citizens here, property or whatever, there's a directive once that happens. The other thing was knowing your rights as far as SB 4 and all the other issues, along with immigration such as DACA as well. And so that was a very good event. And for Bridgeport, 120 people showed up. So that in itself proved that there was a lot of concern there, as not only in Bridgeport, but across the state and the nation for Latinos. And so that evolved into bringing the consulate, working with the Consulate General of Dallas. They brought the mobile consulate to Bridgeport for 4 days, and every day there was 300 plus people taking advantage of the services that the Consulate General offers to them. And so that in itself proved that there was a need and a demand for these types of resources. And so that eventually evolved into working with Proyecto Inmigrante, which bring the Omega Citizenship Workshop to our community. And so in collaborative effort with them, we have now, I guess in the last couple months, we have over 100 people who are on the pathway to becoming United States citizens. And so, again, providing resources, the people are paying good money to become United States citizens. Well, what Proyecto Inmigrante offered is a waive of all the legal fees and everything, so it decreased the cost to be able to become a United States citizen, aside from the application costs. But you still don't want to waste people's money, so what we're doing starting in January is providing a civics class along with ESL, so people can go and take, when they go to take their test, they can pass the interview process plus the civics portion of the test. So there's a lot of great things happening in Bridgeport. 2018 is going to be an even bigger year because we're going to continue these efforts in our community. But what I'm really proud of as well, we lost our Coal Miner Festival, which has been a traditional annual event in our community. And so once we lost that, our city manager was like, what can we do to fill that void, because we need something for the community? And I said, well, why don't we have Dia de los Muertos, have a festival there? And so this year, in 2018, that'll be the first Day of the Dead festival for Bridgeport. I mean, with the 50% Latino population, there hasn't been anything directed at the Latino community in Bridgeport up until this point. And so we formed a committee, and we're moving forward. We're hoping the first year is going to be a really great year, great festival for our community, and hopefully bring people from the Metroplex, many Latinos from North Texas, to our community. And so, like I said, there's many great things happening, and as a city official, you know, it's one thing to show up to council meetings twice a month, but if you really want to affect change, you really got to get out there and bring the resources to your community. In order to, if you do these things, I myself do these things to help Bridgeport with the economic and just the community in general, to keep Bridgeport strong and moving in a positive direction. Again, I want to thank Domingo Garcia, Mr. Domingo Garcia, for this opportunity, and all of you today for allowing me to speak today. So, gracias.
Do you have any questions for the new council member here from Bridgeport? I didn't know Bridgeport was 50% Latino. Could y'all do a resolution opposing SB4? You think you'd do that?
I've been pretty vocal about it in my community. Any questions? Yes, sir.
How are the outside providers of information essentially to as far as bringing products and venues to come and take Hispanic people?
It's been well received. I have to hand it to especially our mayor. He's been very supportive of all this. The community has been very supportive of it. And I have to say, I became a member of Nuevo, and so if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to be in contact with all these resources. So that in itself has allowed all this to happen. And so, but yeah, it's been well received. There has been some issue though, I mean, which I'm disappointed in, but we move forward, and you know, when one door closes, three more open. And so that's, unfortunately, we're in a time right now where prejudice is there. And so, but you know what? We moved forward, and we adapted, and we overcame, and we continued our efforts. So, anybody else?
Thank you. Jennifer, do you have the list?
I got it right here.
Oh. All right. Our next speaker is going to talk about something that's kind of important to a lot of people. She is currently serves as the Diversity Outreach Coordinator for the Alzheimer's Association of North Central Texas chapter. She has a bachelor's degree in secondary education from Baylor University. Her background includes experiences teaching in middle school and high school, administering and training technical assistance to leaders in Hispanic national nonprofit organizations. She's been married for 23 years and lived in Puerto Rico for 13 years before relocating to Capel in 2012. Let's give a big hand to Tia Vega. She's with the Alzheimer's Association of North Central Texas.
Thank you, Mr. García. Es un placer estar con ustedes esta mañana. Yo voy a seguir hablando en inglés si está bien, y yo tengo mis anotaciones, pero yo quiero aceptar el bienvenido de ustedes. Esta es una organización muy poderosa, muy buena, y qué increíble que ustedes estén aquí donando su sábado en la mañana. Bueno, my name is Tia Viera. I am not Hispanic, but I've been speaking Spanish for many years and becoming very familiar with various aspects of the culture, and it's my delight to be here. And I want to ask you to start off with, how many of you, with a show of hands, has family members or close friends who have been affected by any type of dementia or Alzheimer's? Raise them up high. Yes, look how many in the room. I know I've talked to several of you here this morning, and then I know Mr. Steve and Mr. Lee have shared their stories of their loved ones who have now passed away with Alzheimer's. I'm going to give you some staggering statistics this morning, but before I do, I would like this table to stand, please. And I would like you, ma'am, to stand, please. And you too, please, here to stand. If you take a look with these folks standing, one of the statistics is that currently people over 85 or more likely to develop Alzheimer's, and right now a third of the population of the United States has Alzheimer's or another form of dementia over age 85. So this would represent the number in this small group. This many people today would be living with Alzheimer's over age 85. Thank you. Please have a seat. The statistics really are daunting. So let me just share some of them for you. Every 66 seconds, someone develops Alzheimer's disease. 5.5 million people today are living with Alzheimer's disease. And by the year 2050, Lord forbid, if we're not able to find a cure, there will be 16 million. So that's going from 5.5 to 16 million. 2/3 of those who have Alzheimer's are women. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States for people 65 and over. And if you look at a list of the top 10 reasons for death, Alzheimer's is the only one in the top 10 list that there's no cure, there's no way to slow it down, there's no way to affect the disease at this point. So I said 1 in 3, 85 and over, 1 in 10, 65 and over. And if we look at the statistics for caregivers, people who are providing care and attention to those with Alzheimer's, in the year 2016, we had 15 million people providing 18.2 billion hours in its unpaid service, of course. And you can imagine the physical and emotional toll that this takes, and the majority of caregivers are, who would you guess, men or women? Women, right? So it's a very, very grave statistic. Now let's turn to looking at Hispanics. I don't know if you all know, but Latinos are 1.5 times more likely to develop the disease. Part of the reason is because Hispanics are living longer, and age is the greatest risk factor. But it also has to do with lifestyle, you guys, as we're eating this delicious food. It has to do with problems often with cardiovascular, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, and I hate to give you those that grim report now that we're enjoying this delicious food. But you know that we love our beans with our yummy lard and all of that. So it may have something to do with our lifestyle factor as well. And so you're living longer, there are more cases of these various diseases, and there are also studies now out that are reporting that especially the segment of the Mexican American folks are showing more cases of Alzheimer's and dementia. And there are studies going on right now. It's staggering. 200,000 today living with the disease, projected that by the year 2050, 1.3 million. So I work with Alzheimer's Association. I work with the Fort Worth office. So we're in North Central Texas. Our coverage area is Fort Worth, Tarrant County, surrounding counties, go all the way down to Waco, Wichita Falls, and Abilene. We also have a Dallas office that's a part of the Alzheimer's Association, but it's a separate chapter. So those of you who are from Dallas, you may know that they do some different offerings than we have. So we exist to serve individuals and families and professionals who are impacted by Alzheimer's disease and other related dementias. Our vision is to create a world without Alzheimer's. And our logo is very interesting. You might see our logo back there on the tablecloth. If you want to turn around or afterward go see it. On one part of the logo, it looks like a head, and that represents serving those that are suffering with the disease or those who are caring. And then the other half of the logo is that exact image inverted, and it looks like a beaker, because we are all about raising money for research to get to the end of this disease. We are a national nonprofit organization dedicated to the elimination of Alzheimer's disease through the advancement of research. So we provide education, care and support for individuals with the disease, their family caregivers, and a big part of what we do is to promote healthy brain health. So people ask about what is Alzheimer's disease, and I want you to know that Alzheimer's disease is a disorder of the brain, that it is progressive, it is degenerative, and currently it is fatal. There is no cure. And the hallmark of the disease is that people who have this disease get inside of their brain, they're called beta amyloid protein plaques, and they're sticky. And these plaques form in the brain, and they cover the neurons so that it affects the healthy being able to transmit messages and carry information throughout the brain. There's also a protein called tau, and tau ends up making these twisted fibers that we call tangles that are in the brain. And you can see that in people who've had Alzheimer's disease on autopsy. And that's what's happening, is that the brain cells are becoming more and more unreliable as the disease progresses, and the brain cells will eventually die, turn to liquid, the brain will shrink and have a lot of canals and fissures, and then there's no way to be able to carry out the normal day-to-day tasks. I would like to tell you about some of our services. First of all, we have a helpline, 24-hour-7 number, and people can call our helpline from anywhere around the United States, and according to their prefix on their phone, it will connect them to their local Alzheimer's Association. So it's a place where people can go to get information and turn to us for answers. It's also a place where they can get referrals for community organizations to help them. For example, they may call and ask us for a particular type of doctor, or they may want to start researching the different living situations, the adult communities, and we have lists for those. They may want to know about an adult daycare. We also provide legal aid. We have connect them to attorneys for elder care law, and we also help them get in-home care services whenever we can. And I wanted to tell you about our support groups. Throughout our network, we have 44 support groups. The majority of them are for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's and just for them. But we do have some early stage groups where you can bring along the person with the disease. That person would need to be cognizant that they have a disease and would like to be around socialization with others like them. And we have a Friday group that's a fun social group. We also have online groups for connecting for those caregivers to be able to speak in a message board, and we have a phone caregiver group as well for support. I work with the educational programs division. That's what I do, and we go around like I'm doing today, and our whole reason for coming out is to create awareness and concern for the disease, and then talk about what we know about Alzheimer's and educate people. So we have workshops, seminars, conferences. We've got a lot of literature, and you can feel free to visit the table afterward. And we have e-news, and we have trainings also for professionals. I want to tell you about our case management. We have a group of folks at our office here in Fort Worth that will take families on a case-by-case basis and go out and help them with the needs that they might have. Let's say that they need VA benefits and they've never made a relationship with the VA. Our office can be a liaison to help them with that. If they need to apply for help and they've got to fill out paperwork to try to get Medicaid Star Plus or something like that, and they can help connect them to services, or through the Agency on Aging, they can help them to get an assessment, a health assessment, to do a walkthrough and find out what they might need to make that loved one safer in the home with grab bars or moving rugs or what have you, or connect them to respite services. And they give ongoing follow-up through this case management. And then we have another program called REACH, and it stands for Resources for Enhancing Alzheimer's Caregiver Health. It's an evidence-based program funded. Our funding comes through the United Way. We're very thankful for that program because it provides up to 6 months in-home one-on-one between our dementia care specialists and caregivers. And the reason for REACH is to reduce the caregiver burden and stress and help them to learn how better to communicate with their loved one with dementia. And so it's free to them, but we can go up to 6 times over a 6-month period and help them with REACH. Also, the Alzheimer's Association helps support Medic Alert Safe Return. Have any of you heard of that before? It's a nationwide program where we are connecting with first responders and with local law enforcement to help locate these seniors that get lost, because wandering is a big problem with Alzheimer's disease. You may have seen some of the jewelry, the bracelets, necklaces, and now they have little bars you can even put in the shoelaces. And if a loved one gets lost, your information as a caregiver is on the back, and then they can give you a call and try to make sure that that loved one gets back. Okay, trial match. I want you to understand that right now in the Alzheimer's Association around the nation, we've got over 200 clinical studies going on. Now these studies get funded, and sometimes they don't have enough volunteers who are healthy to sign up, and because of that, the studies get postponed or sometimes even canceled. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel desperate about this disease, and I feel like I'm helpless as to what to do. We can all help. We can sign up to go through these clinical studies. Some of the studies are only answering questions over the phone or taking a survey online. Others, you go into a lab and you give your blood, or they do different types of screenings. But it's a good way for us to get involved so that they can do the research. I've got some information about Trial Match, both in English and Spanish back there. And if you were to fill it out, they'll send you information how to sign up for it. And then they'll start sending in your email different studies in your area. And you can say yes or no if you're interested or not. We have the biggest fundraiser of the year is called the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Anybody know about the Walk to End Alzheimer's? I know Mr. Lee had a walk team last year. And the flowers back there on the table that look like they're flowers but they're pinwheels, those represent whether you're walking in honor of a loved one who's living, your loved one has passed, you're a caregiver, or maybe you're just all about the cause. And what we do is we raise money by people forming a walk team, and then people joining a walk team, and everybody fundraising, and that money goes to support the Alzheimer's Association research and programs and services. So last year we raised over $77 million, including $869 in North Central Texas chapter. We just finished our walk season. A couple of weeks ago was our last walk. We had 4 in the Fort Worth area, and then we had, like I said, we have Wichita Falls and Abilene and Waco, and they each had their own walk. We also have something called the Longest Day, which takes place on June 21st, which is the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. And the idea behind that is people who are dealing with Alzheimer's and other dementias sometimes feel like it is the longest day. And what you do is you find something that you enjoy doing or your loved one enjoys doing, and you find a way to make money for that one day. And so let's say you are a woman who has a knitting club. Maybe you get your friends together and everybody puts $5 in the jar. You donate that money to Alzheimer's. Or you might set up a way to do a bike-a-thon. Whatever you enjoy doing, you do it all day on the longest day. You find a way to make money. And we have other things. We run in the Cowtown Marathon, and we raise money that way. So I'm here today. I'm so thrilled to be here today. I'm new at my job. I've been on the job about not quite 7 months now. And I would love, since it's so strong on my heart, looking at the statistics, I would love for some of you to get on board with me. I serve those that are underrepresented and underserved with the African American community, the Hispanic community, and now the LGBT community. So how could you maybe get involved? Well, I'm going to be setting up a task force, or renewing a task force. If anybody's interested, please talk to me. We always need volunteers. On the 21st, we had the Hispanic Caregiver Seminar on the south side this time. We had it at the St. Andrew Catholic Parish, and we had wonderful representation thanks to all the Catholic churches that were able to promote it. Thank you, Father Hasso, and everyone. It was a small group this year, but we had a lot of volunteers and good vendors that came out. It was a good start, but if you're interested in helping with something like that, I need bilingual volunteers to help me out as well. So I'll be in the back table at the end, and I'd be happy to talk to you. I don't want to take time for questions. I would love to talk to you. My mother has Alzheimer's. She lives in the Houston area, and so I'm very familiar with doing things the wrong way. If some of you have loved ones that are experiencing symptoms, and we've got brochures back there on what are the 10 symptoms and signs, I would be more than happy to give you some help and guidance, maybe show you a way to do things that would make it easier that I learned the hard way. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time and wish you the very, very best. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Did you forget the question? All right. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is kind of a rarity. He's an economist. He's a data scientist and an urban planner. He's been lived in Precinct 2 for over 20 years, and he's running for county commissioner in Precinct 2. Let's give a big hand to Saeed Hassan, candidate for Tamil County Commissioner.
Hello. ¿Cómo estás? Thank you, Devin Garcia, for hosting me here today, and congratulations on your son's graduation. It was just last week, wasn't it?
Birthday.
Thanks. I'm not a stranger to the Latino community. I've been working on civil rights conference with LULAC that I hosted with 13 other different civil rights community and peace and justice organizations. My name is Syed Hassan, and like Domingo said, I am an economist with 3 master's degrees in economics. Last one was from Michigan State. I worked for American Airlines for 10 years in planning. Then I worked for United and Continental Airlines for 16 years, all in planning. I'm an urban planner also by training. I had one of my master's thesis was on special urban structure. Have international publication from that too. So I have done all that. I'm a married man for 25 years. My wife Tazeen is an entrepreneur, and I have 2 sons in college. 25 years in marriage. It didn't give me the handicap sticker. It's the other thing. So why I'm running? I was in a candidate forum right here in Irving where attorneys were passing out affidavits to people, like if they leave their kids to schools, they leave the affidavit with them. That is, if they are picked up, their kids can be released to others or designated people. That's really paying me. That is really, I mean, are we up to this level? And that's what I feel, that our families are under attack. Our kids are under attack. It's not the Latino kid, it's not the Muslim kid, it's not the white or brown kids, it is our kids. These are our people. I've never saw the harassment or the terror in eyes of people before that I saw in those parents who are going to leave their kids to designated people. This is not American value. This is not what we are.
Right.
And and when we say that these are our kids, these are our people, we must stand for those kids. We must stand for our families. That day, I decided I'm going to run for an office. If I can take one seat out from those people who are taking our society to that level, I'll do it. And I looked and I thought that this commissioner seat would be most appropriate one because I'm an economist. It's very relevant. They do budgets, they do all the financial, stuff. So I thought that this is a very relevant position for me. But I'm an activist. Deep down, I'm an activist. I have been doing this for the last 2 decades. I came from Pakistan as an immigrant, and I fought against military dictatorship there. I risked my life, risked myself to be in jail. But all those things that I've done, that's what I am. If they say that if you don't apply SB4, you'll go to jail, it doesn't scare me. Believe me, it doesn't scare me. As an economist, I look at several things that, I look at the trends where our society, where our country is going. Right now, America is 23% of the global GDP. But China is taking over. China will be 28% by 2030, and US will come down to 17%. Well, with Donald Trump, if he stays 4 years, probably will be sooner. But what I see here, that we are losing global GDP share, and the people in America is an aging population. And that's what I make an economic argument for DACA kids. We have 800,000 kids who are ready to be added to the labor force. What economic sense it makes when we have aging population, leave those kids out and throw them out of the country? It doesn't make any sense. I'm talking, morality, I cannot teach them morality, that comes from inside. But the economic sense, how can they even think of reducing the labor force when we have aging population? You know what they do is, they are raising the Social Security age from 67 to 69. Who get affected from this? The poor people, the minorities. They don't get to the age of 69. Yeah, they work hard. They have, with the hard labor and all, they don't really get to that age. They don't really get the benefit of Social Security. They're paying every dime for what they earn in Social Security tax. The rich people, they don't pay over 118,000. So this is the society that we are in. It's loaded against people, working class, and middle income groups. So these are the inequalities or injustice that I see. I stand for economic justice. When I'm talking about economic justice, that means when I'm a commissioner, I can provide those services that people are paying for. The poor people, they're paying for federal income tax. They don't really get anything back from the federal government. They pay state taxes on every penny that they earn. They say that, the Republicans, they say these poor people or the middle class people, they don't pay. 47% people don't pay taxes. Everybody pay, from every penny they earn, they pay taxes. And a lot of them, they don't get any benefit. They are talking about undocumented or other immigrants. They are paying taxes on every penny they spend in this country. They don't get any benefit back. So that's me being an economist, I see those things. I want to return them with the county hospital, with the roads, and I have some other plans also. I want to have free Wi-Fi system, the citywide, the county-wide Wi-Fi system. What happens to the poor people or people with limited resources? They don't have internet at their home because the neighborhood they live in, they don't even have cable to provide them internet. And internet in this 21st century is a civil right for everybody. We are connected through internet. The kids cannot finish their homework because they don't have internet service. All our schools the classes and the courses are on internet. People who don't have internet cannot really take advantage of the bargain they get on Amazon and other services. They pay much higher on their purchases. So I want to have free internet service, and it will help businesses also. The mom and pop stores, they can sell more. The tourism will be increased. And it's not a novel or unique idea. There are so many cities in the world that have. Johannesburg has it. Helsinki has it. We have in U.S. cities, Minneapolis, You name it, Philadelphia, even Houston has an area that has free internet service. Why cannot we provide that service to, especially in the low-income neighborhoods? The other idea I have is technological training centers. Folks, we are not prepared for 21st century. Our education system is good, but the 21st century jobs are much different than what we are training. One city in India, Bangalore, has 18,000 institutes. 18,000 institutes that are training people on IT and related services. That's a future economy. These are the future jobs. If you're working in a plant with your hand, the robots are going to replace you. Just recently, if you look at the Amazon Go, the cashiers will not be there. You just pick the stuff and you just go home and, reservation office, you don't see anybody there. These are all automated systems. So we got to prepare for 21st century. Tarrant County is an urban county, but we don't have the urban infrastructure. We need to have public transportation. That's a must thing. If we want to get into 21st century, if we want to grow, we must have public transportation system. And it's not only for the people with little resources, it is economic benefit from removing those cars from the road and providing public transportation system where people can go. A person on disability like me can be out from welfare and start paying taxes if we have public transportation. There's so many other benefits, and it makes economic sense, and that's what I want to propose, that we should have public transportation system in Tarrant County. We have a lot of waste and abuse. When we give out public contracts, we don't see where the jobs are created, or if it will create jobs. I will not sign any contract, any bill that would not create local jobs. And these are the development that we need in our county. But at the end of the day, it's our families that matter. Any policy, since it's not a legislative position, I would not be making laws, but I would be executing those laws, executing those facilities, running those facilities. And I'll make sure that it helps our families, because that's what the public policy is all about. Economic development should not be taken as more corporate welfare, more tax abatement. Economic development should be the quality of life of our people. Raise our quality of life. Give them opportunities. Get them training if they want, or if they are. We have so many jobs that are lying in these corporations that are not filled. Because we have 35% unemployment in our urban areas. What we're doing, we're bringing people from overseas to fill those jobs. Why cannot we train our own people? I don't want to ban anybody. I don't want anybody. We want to compete. Our society should compete with the whole world. And that's what American society is all about. We compete. We don't ban. And that's what I want to do. I want to turn Tarrant County to be a bastion of high-skilled labor force and technology and companies that will be lined up to have their offices here. These days, Amazon is looking perhaps the second headquarters. They will not choose Tarrant County. Businesses are leaving from here. We don't have anchor businesses. Radio Shack was one in Fort Worth, but that's also is down. we don't really have new businesses coming to this town because it's not, we are in a race to give them, roll red carpet to them, give them tax abatement and all this. But that's not what businesses are looking. Businesses are looking for counties and cities that are progressive, that are looking they are in the modern age. They have consumer base, and they have a skilled labor force. So this is my message. Again, thank you, Domingo Garcia, for giving me this opportunity. I thank you all for listening to me. My name is Syed Hassan, and running for County Commissioner. Please remember me in March and in November next year. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Hassan? No preguntas? All right, thank you very much. I know. I mean, it's really interesting. If you saw the election results from Tuesday, did you know that 2 Latinas got elected to the House of Delegates, the state representatives in Virginia? Okay, one from Richmond, the capital of the Confederacy. So things are happening around the country with a variety of candidates that are not likely to win, but are winning in places and making and causing surprises. I think this commissioner's district might be one of those surprises. All right, our next speaker has worked as a human service specialist for the city of Fort Worth for 3 years. She earned her master's degree in public administration from UTA in 2015. She has 15 years working experience in the social services field, including domestic violence shelters, AIDS, HIV agencies, and youth shelters. And she's with the City of Fort Worth Neighborhood Services Department. Let's give a big hand to Jackie Jackson.
Good morning. Good morning. So this morning I'm going to be talking to you all about Community Action Partners, which is a part of the City of Fort Worth Neighborhood Services Department. I'm sorry. Our first program, which is the Utility Assistance Program, which is our most popular program, is our Utility Assistance Program. You can apply for this program online by downloading an application. You can go to the City of Fort Worth website and you can go to the Community Services tab. We are no longer taking appointments where you can go into the community centers and have appointments we're no longer having the call center, We no longer have the call center available for you to go in, call in and speak to a live representative. You can only call and speak to an automated system or download an application. So it's kind of different from years previous. Our utility assistance program, you have to be 125% income. We, the human service specialists and the eligibility specialists, we determine that for you guys. With the utility assistance, we determine how many payments you can get per year. And the year is from January 1st to December 31st. So we do run different from a lot of other agencies' grant years. You do have to apply every year if you want to get assistance every year. So if you get assistance for 2017, that doesn't mean you cannot get assistance for 2018. The program did change last year, so if the household is receiving Social Security, not disability, but Social Security income, you're automatically eligible, even if you're over the income threshold, as long as someone in the household is receiving Social Security. Another program that we also have is our CapWorks and our case management program. We have teamed up with various schools and other vocational schools in Tarrant County, such as TCC. If you are looking to go back to school for a short-term certification, and what we mean by short-term is a year or less, we can pay for that. And a lot of things that we see people wanting to go back to do, CNA, forklift, welding, not dentistry, but like dental hygienist, things of that nature. So short-term certifications, we can definitely do that. TCC has most of everything that our clients are looking for, and so does UTA's Healthcare Institute. So we do send a lot of our clients to those institutions. We also have our HCC repair program. If you need your AC unit fixed, we can do that as long as you meet the requirements. So right now the requirement is if you have a child in the household that's 5 and under, or if you have an older adult in the household. And so the way you do that is by calling the phone number, which is 817-392-5790. I think I put flyers for everything I'm talking about on everybody's table. If not, sitting in the middle right here, and I can get everyone something. Or you can download an application. And we also have our case management program, which is similar to our CapWorks program. So the whole positioning of community action partners is to transition those who come into the program out of poverty. And transitioning those out of poverty is to get them above 125% of the federal poverty income guideline. And so what we do is we try to get our clients into school. We try to get them working. If they're already in school, we try to get them working. And so we try to get them stabilized so they can get that job, that career that they want, so they can begin to provide for their family. They can get off, try to get off different type of government assistance programs so they can be stable. So we also have our Cowboy Santa's program, which is our program that's going on now. And so how you can get assistance with that program, your child does have to be between newborn and 12 years old. You can register at our CAP centers across Tarrant County on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30 or from 1 to 3:30. Or you can register at the warehouse, which is down the street, from 10 to 1:30. And at the warehouse, you can't just pop up at the warehouse. You do have to call for an appointment at the warehouse. And that number is on the form. And we also, at this time, have our Silver Stars program, which is our program for our vulnerable older adults, which is 60 and above. And so what we try to do for them around this time is try to get them health and safety items like breachers if they need that, blankets, socks, light bulbs, shampoo, lotion, and throw in like some fun items for them as well. So does anyone have any questions about CAP or Cowboy Santas, Silver Stars?
If someone wanted to donate to either Cowboy Santa or Silver Stars, how would we go about doing that?
Okay, if you would like to donate, you could take it to the warehouse. There will be somebody there at the warehouse. Or you can call 817-392, or you can come to me and I can give you the number. And I can give you the number for that, and I can tell you how to donate toys. I can tell you how to donate the items for Silver Stars. Now with us, for Cowboy Santas, we do toys for Cowboy Santas. Catholic Charities, which is their Goodfellows program, they do the clothing. So with Cowboy Santas, you can sign up for Cowboy Santas and the Goodfellows program at Catholic Charities. However, a client cannot sign up for Cowboy Santas and like Angel Tree and Salvation Army. So, or another toy drive program. There is a database that will catch you because you have to provide your social security number. So that client will be caught if they are double dipping, and we do let them know that they can't try to apply for 2 toy drives.
So are children without a social excluded?
No.
No.
And they do have to provide a birth certificate or like immunization record because we do have to verify age. our utility assistance and our CapWorks program, if we do have an undocumented client that comes in for our utility assistance program, we are able to pay one bill only, and that is it. They won't be able to get continued assistance unless they're able to prove like some type of U.S. citizenship, and that's not a rule of ours. Unfortunately, that's the rule of the federal government because that's the funds we get. You do have to be a U.S. citizen to get assistance. And we have to see a U.S. passport, a birth certificate, or a voter registration card to prove your U.S. citizenship, or some kind of naturalization paper.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker has been a firefighter for over 32 years. He's a fire and life safety educator, hazmat technician, rescue specialist, water safety education coordinator for the Fort Worth Fire Department. And let me just tell you, I was a firefighter for one day when I was with the city of Dallas. And I remember being out there carrying all that gear and trying to hose a fire down. We'll never do that again. I respect that a lot. So let's get a big hand to firefighter Stuart Keel.
I'm going to try to talk without the microphone because can everybody hear me without the microphone?
Yeah.
Good. Because I have to use my hands, and people say that I project very loudly, so I don't want to blow your eardrums out. Like Mr. Domingo said, my name is Firefighter Stuart Keel. I'm a firefighter paramedic with the Fort Worth Fire Department. I've been doing it for 32 years. However, I'm only 34. And lying is wrong. Okay? But I want to talk to y'all today about something that is very important, about fire safety and also holiday safety. We are getting upon the time of the holiday seasons, so I want everybody to be sure and be safe. Okay? As I'm up here talking, you might notice I have a funny looking eye. It's kind of lazy looking. Well, it's not just because it's lazy, it's because it's a prosthetic eye. Because I did the cardinal sin, I did not follow safety rules. So that got me very much into being a big advocate for safety. Because I have one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, but I did this in my house. I had 2 rakes and a shovel I was going to hang up on my garage wall. 3 nails. Do I need to wear safety glasses? Nah. What's the likelihood of that happening to me? But you know what? I saw me do it. The first nail, tap, 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 bam, and pop, right back in my eye. At that moment, I became the best looking one-eyed firefighter that I know of.
All right.
Probably the only one, but I'm going to go with that one, okay? But anyway, so I like to keep an eye out for fire and life safety hazards. That's my little yuck yuck. I don't know if you can see it, but I can carry it everywhere I go. Now, if we have an emergency, what number do we call for emergency? 911. Now, I know that sounds a little basic. However, if you ever have to call 911, there's a few things we need to know. The first thing is you need to calm down. For you to be calling 911 is probably the worst day of your life. So calm down and speak in a normal voice, okay? The second thing is be sure to know your phone number and the address where the emergency is. The phone number is very important because if we get disconnected, they can call you back. And the last thing is never hang up until the 911 operator tells you to. Because all the operators have been trained in how to deal with emergencies over the phone, so they might be able to tell you something you can do to make the situation better until we get there. Now, smoking. Talk about smoking for a minute. That is still one of the #1 reasons of residential structure fires. If you smoke or a loved one smokes, preferably have them smoke outside. As an ex-smoker, I can attest it stinks. Okay? But if you're going to smoke inside, at least use deep, large, sturdy ashtrays that don't tip over easy. Make sure all the cigarette butts and ashes are totally out before you discard them. Don't smoke if you take medications that might make you sleepy, or if you've been drinking. Most of our calls with cigarettes involve people that have been drinking, and they go to bed with a cigarette when they catch themselves on fire. Okay? And if you use oxygen, please don't smoke. We call that job security, because as long as people like that still smoke and use oxygen, I'll always have a job. Okay? Now, as the temperatures start to get cooler, a lot of people start to use space heaters. If you're going to use a space heater, give them space. Because it's not a matter of if something's going to catch on fire, it's a matter of when it's going to catch on fire. Because everything in this world is made up of atoms. When atoms get hot, they start rubbing together. When they rub together, they create a thing called friction, which is a fancy word for heat. And over time, when that friction builds up, the temperature starts getting so high that those atoms start emitting what we call fumes. When those fumes reaches their ignition temperature, poof, we have fire. So if you're going to use a space heater, we want to have at least a 3-foot clear area all the way around your space heater at all times, please. The next biggest thing, which is the #1 cause of residential structure fires, are kitchen fires. We have to be careful in our kitchens, people. What would we do if we have a grease fire? How would we put it out? Put a lid on it. That's the best thing you can do. Turn the burner off, put the lid, or if you don't have a lid, how about a cookie sheet? Because see, fire has to have 3 things in order to exist: fuel, heat, and oxygen. If I remove any one of those 3 things, fire can no longer exist. It's kind of like you take a 3-legged stool, and if I take one of those legs away from the stool, what happens to the stool? It falls down. Now it's a trip hazard. Okay? But fire is the same way. If I can remove any one of those 3 things, fire can no longer exist. So turn the burner off, slide the lid over it, and fire is out. Wait till it cools down and take it out. Now, a lot of people say I would use baking soda. Well, baking soda will work. However, you have to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, where do I keep my baking soda at? Do we have time to go digging around in the pantry and in the refrigerator trying to find our baking soda? No. And not only that, how much baking soda do you have? Okay? So the easiest and quickest way is just to put a lid on it. Okay? Now the next thing is, what would we do if we had a fire in our oven? Just turn it off and walk away. But whatever you do not open that open door up, because now we just gave a fresh supply of oxygen, and we're probably going to be missing our eyebrows. And we might even have to go to the hair club for men and get some plugs put in. Alright? It's the safest place you have in your house. It is designed for fire, heat, and smoke. As a matter of fact, that used to be where I kept all my important papers. Until my girlfriend came over one day and cooked me dinner. She burned up all my stuff. She had to go. Just kidding, but it sounded really funny. Now the next thing about kitchen safety is always wear appropriate fitting clothing. If you have long sleeves that have cuffs, make sure they're buttoned. One of the worst calls I can remember running in my 32-year career was a little lady that got up one morning. It was a cold fall morning. She had gas stove. She had all her burners going to heat the kitchen up. She's going to cook breakfast for her husband. And she had on a nylon, rayon, polyester, some fluffy, frilly robe. And she reached across one of those burners, and that burner hit her, and it shrink wrapped. So always wear appropriate fitting clothing. And if you like to cook in the nude, I recommend wearing an apron, especially if you're cooking bacon. Because you know how bacon likes to pop, and I don't want you to have to explain to the ER personnel where and how you got those burns, where you got those burns. That's just words to live by right there. Okay? And the next thing is, in today's society, we are so busy. we are multitasking. We got 3 or 4 things going on at the same time. Have you ever been cooking and forgotten you were cooking?
Yep.
Uh-huh. And we don't need to wait for the smoke detector to go off and let us know that our food is ready. So in order to prevent that, one of the best ways that you can do is to set a timer. Or if you don't have a timer, how about throwing a towel over your shoulder? Something that will remind you. Put a big old wooden spoon in your pocket. Something that will remind you that you're cooking. Okay? Now, what do we do if our clothes catches on fire? Stop, drop, and roll. But I want to add one extra step to that. Stop, drop, cover your face, and roll. Because it only takes a temperature of 150 degrees to burn the back of your throat. That's not that hot. So cover your face and then roll back and forth. Now at any time should we try to take our clothes off. If my shirt's on fire and I'm trying to take my shirt off, where am I going to put that fire at? Right here on my head. I know it's not a very pretty head, but it's the only one I got. Okay? Now, talking to adults, what would you do if someone is confined to a wheelchair and their clothes were to catch on fire somehow? How would we put these people out? Grab a blanket, throw the blanket on them. But now, for that day, if he's been a real pain in the patootie, you dump him out, you roll him over. You teach him who's boss, okay? Now, does everybody in here have smoke alarms? Do they work? How do you know they work? Because we test them every month, it would be the correct answer. Okay? Every smoke detector has got a button on it. I don't expect you to climb up on a ladder or a stool to check these smoke detectors. Get a broomstick or a mop handle, whatever, reach up there, push that button until it goes off. That's going to let you know 2 things. 1, that it works. 2, it's going to remind you what your smoke detector sounds like. Very important, because that's one of the most important things you can have in your house to save your life. They're not so important during the day, because if I was to strike a match on a piece of paper on fire, we'd all smell it in a matter of seconds. But when we go to sleep at night, not only do we go to sleep, but our noses go to sleep. And we can't smell smoke. And you can wake up dead. Everybody have some more coffee. Because that smoke is so poisonous, the smoke is going to hurt you way before the fire ever does. The 2 main ingredients in that smoke is carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide. And the reason why we have so much cyanide in it nowadays is everything's made out of poly something. 20, 25 years ago, we actually had stuff that was made out of wood, wool, cloth. But now it's poly something, polyurethane, polyvinyl. Everything's made out of plastics. When that plastic burns, it can convert to hydrogen cyanide. So please make sure you have working smoke detectors. Now, one other thing. Do y'all have kids living at home? Are your kids heavy sleepers? I used to have several boys. They're grown now, but they lived at home, and literally their alarm clock was right here next to their head. It would go off at 6 o'clock in the morning. 7:30, they hadn't even hit the snooze button. I knew that my smoke detector wouldn't wake them up because I tested it on them. Wait till they go to sleep at night, and then set the smoke detector off. See if it wakes them up. This is important knowledge to have. Because I knew that the smoke detector would not wake my man-child up. So I knew that if something happened during the middle of the night and we have a fire, that I would physically have to go get him out of bed. That's important information to know. Okay? If you don't have smoke detectors, or if you don't know if they work, or they're over 10 years of age, if you'll call the Fort Worth Fire Department, we have a smoke detector program. If you are a resident of the city of Fort Worth, we will come to your house and install one, brand new one, for free. That's how important they are to us. That's what's going to save your life if you have a fire. Now, It is extremely important to know what to do if your house was to catch on fire. The time of the emergency is not a time to come up with a plan. You want to think about it ahead of time. You want to have at least 2 ways out of every room in the house. Typically, that's going to be your bedroom door and a window. Okay? Obviously, the quickest way out is through the door. But what if the door is hot? Do we open it? No, because fire, smoke, heat can be on the other side. But what if it's not hot? Can we open it then? Sure. But I want you to open it up real easy and kind of stick your head out and say, peekaboo. Okay? Very important. Now, what's our other way out? The window. Okay? Very important. What would you do if you couldn't get your window open? Break it. Break it. That sounds kind of funny, silly, but you'd be amazed that when you're having an emergency, oh my God, no, especially with your kids, go over this with them. Now the next thing is, would your kids be able to get out of their house if they could not see? Unlike what you see in the movies, real fire is very much different. There might be a great possibility that your child cannot see. And if they can't see, your brain's going to play tricks on you. Your brain's going to say, hey, you crawled 10 feet. But in reality, you've only gone about 5. So I would encourage you to put your child in the bedroom, blindfold them, turn them around a couple times, have them get on their hands and knees, and then crawl to find their way out. They think it's a game, but they're actually learning something. Because now we have developed muscle memory. So if the child can't see and they're crawling, the brain's going to say, hey, you crawled about 10 feet. Muscles are going to say, shut up, brain, we got to go 5 more feet to get to the door. Very important. Something else. Could they be staying at a friend's house or at a relative's house and have a fire? Sure. Now, I'm not going to encourage them to go there and say, before I spend the night here, we got a fire drill. Don't do that. They might not invite you back. But I do recommend to look to see how the front door locks and unlocks. What kind of back door is it? Is it a sliding back glass door? Does it have a stick in the trap? That's very important information to know so you can get out easy. Okay? And always think of, if you have a loved one that's in a wheelchair, might use a walker, how would we get these people out of a house that's on fire? Just something to think about. Alright? Now, I want to talk about holiday safety. It's that time of year. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. We've got Christmas coming up. We've got New Year's Eve coming up. How many of y'all are planning on frying a turkey this year? Nobody's going to fry a turkey? Well, if you know of a family member that's going to fry a turkey, there's a few things you've got to know ahead of time. The turkey has to be totally thawed out before you put it in that grease. If not, you're going to kind of have a little bomb. That's what happens. They think the turkey's thawed all the way, but in the inside, it's still got ice. Ice or water and oil do not mix. You're going to have a big old boulder and cauldron come over, and all the grease is going to come out. Then it's going to hit the fire and flame on it. Okay? Now, who in here gets a real Christmas tree every year? Okay? There's a few things we need to know if you get a real Christmas tree. The first thing is picking the tree. You want to pick a tree that's got fresh, green needles on it. Hit it on the ground a few times. If a bunch of needles don't fall off, it's a good tree. But if more needles fall off and stay on the tree, don't pick it. When you get home, you want to cut just a couple of inches off of the end of the trunk and put it in a stand. Very important to always keep your tree watered. That tree can suck up about a gallon of water a day. So you have to water it daily. If not, it's going to dry out and it's going to be flammable. Very important. Always make sure you have UL-approved lights on your tree. Make sure your lights are in good condition. Make sure no wires are frayed or scraped or anything like that. Never use lit candles on a real tree. To me, that makes perfect sense. But you know what? Common sense isn't real common. That's another job security. We always have a job. Always turn your Christmas tree lights off before leaving the house or going to bed. Any questions? Gripes, complaints, concerns, snide remarks? Anything? Well, thank you all very much for allowing me to come. Yes, sir.
Do you by chance have like a printout that has a checklist? Does the fire department do that?
Yes, we let me give you a number to call.
Or is it online somewhere?
Yeah, it's Fort Worth Fire Safety at fortworthtexas.gov, I think. Okay. I want to speak to about one other thing: carbon monoxide detector. How many people have natural gas in their house? Okay. How many of y'all have carbon monoxide detectors? Very, very important, especially with the winter coming on. Our houses are so tightly sealed to have a carbon monoxide detector because they are so dangerous. The great thing about natural gas is it is a clean burning fuel, which means as long as you have the proper air to gas mixture, you produce no byproducts. But if at any time you don't have the proper air to gas mixture, you have carbon monoxide. So when you look at your flames, you should see nice, pretty blue flames at all times. If at any time you see oranges, reds, or yellows, that's incomplete combustion. That is carbon monoxide. And carbon monoxide is the silent killer. It's colorless, odorless, tasteless. You do not know what's in your house until it's too late. So I strongly urge everybody going out and getting a carbon monoxide detector, okay? Thank you very much, and I will turn it back over to Mr. Garcia.
I do have a question. Does the fire department still visit houses, homes, if they request for a fire inspection visit?
Yes.
Those of y'all ought to do that. That's really kind of helpful when you all got some free time. Just have them do an inspection. Okay, our last speaker is a candidate for House District 93. I don't have your bio, so I apologize. I'll let you introduce yourself. Nancy Bean is running for state representative in House District 93.
Thank you. Well, I think we know each other for the most part, and my husband, Dr. Alan Bean, sends his greetings. He couldn't be here with me today. When we've talked before, by the way, I'm not running again. I'm still running for House District 93. I took a little break from running because I broke my foot earlier this year, but I'm back on the street. So, how does that sound? When I've talked to you before, I haven't talked to you about my background much, but I want to tell you a little bit about my family. You know, it's Veterans Weekend, and my father reminded me this weekend that his Uncle Bob, my great uncle, fought for the Union Army, and he was from Georgia. So can you imagine a Georgian signing up for the Union Army? But that's just a little bit of legacy for my family. So I'm a fighter, my father's a fighter, our families are fighters for justice, and you can count on me for that every single time. When I was just a little redheaded girl, in fact, I woke my parents up in the middle of the night because I had been laying awake thinking and worrying, and I wanted to explain to them how government could make sure that everyone had a fair chance. So I'm sure they were thrilled to be awakened and enlightened on that issue. But you see, they had been teaching me from birth that my job was to love my neighbor as myself. And I took it seriously. And so by the time I was 10 years old, I had already figured out that the way we turn loving our neighbors into action is through good government. And so I've spent my life, my husband, Dr. Alan Bean, and I have spent our lives and our careers working for justice for our neighbors. We're having a contest about marriage today. I hear everybody saying we've been married this many years. Alan and I have been married for 40 years. So we raised our children to fight for their neighbors. We've spent our careers fighting for our neighbors. So a few years ago, when we had a family meeting, my family decided that I had to fight for my neighbors in the halls of government. So that's why I'm running. I'm running to fight for families who deserve to have health care for all of their family. Health care is a right, not a privilege. Every other industrialized nation knows that, and it's time that we woke up and realized that health care is not just about charity. Health care is about the economy. Because how can we have the best workforce in the world if we don't have a healthy workforce? So I think that's our job. That is a burning issue in my heart right now. Another burning issue in my heart is education. I have been a public educator for over 24 years. First as a teacher of all different ages, starting out in early childhood. That's my favorite. And that baby left before I got to lay hands on her. I was just sitting there like smelling, hoping I could just touch that baby. Children are not just our future. Children are our present, and children are our hearts. Public education is at risk in the nation. It is particularly at risk in Texas. We are refusing to fund it. We're throwing the money into alternative forms of education rather than funding education where our children are. So I will fight in Austin for full funding for public education, and that means full funding for pre-K through post-secondary and vocational technical training. Once again, it's time that we woke up and realized that our economy depends on us having well-trained workers, and that means educating our population, educating our children, educating our young adults. So I'm running for House District 93. I have a petition in the back, or in the front, whatever that is, the door. At the door, some people say, well, where is House District 93? And my answer is, it's in the Supreme Court. Honorable Romero, the district that he represents, District 90, which is right here, is in the Supreme Court, and mine. Those are the two in Tarrant County that have been ruled to be racially motivated gerrymandering. So 93 is a map that looks like a river, but a couple of blocks north of here is part of 93. I've got a map back there if you're not sure, but whether or not you live in 93, I need your help. I need boots and I need bucks. I mean, boots are the most important thing that I got mine on today. I can't get my cowboy boots on yet because my feet still don't, after breaking, they still won't wiggle in the ways you have to do to get cowboy boots on. But boots are the most important thing. But you know what? If you don't have your boots, your thumb is good. Like me on Facebook, share to your friends, share my events, and I need bucks. So go to my Facebook page or my web page. Check me out, share me, and volunteer with your bucks and your boots. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Any questions? Oh, this is a really tame crowd.
I'm glad you asked that. I'm running against Matt Krause. Matt Krause is one of the Freedom Caucus. Matt Krause hates public education. He has never attended a public school. He knows nothing about it. He is a wealthy lawyer. Funny thing is, Matt Krause is a Baptist, and so am I. And he sees himself as a as a Christian, but you know, I studied the New Testament and I know what Jesus taught. And Jesus taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves.
I also like the Old Testament. All right, thank you very much. All right, that's the last of the speakers. I understand we have some community announcements, so if anybody wants to come on up and give any community announcements. Come on up.
Thank you, Domingo. Sorry I got here late. Traffic was really awful earlier, but I'm glad to be here. My name is Renato de los Santos. I'm the director for the LULAC National Education Service Centers. We are based in Dallas, but we do work with students all over the Metroplex. Specifically here in Tarrant County, we have an after-school science program in the Arlington ISD, specifically at Carter Middle School, and we're working with our sister program at SAM Jobs for Progress to sponsor the robotics program at Sam Houston High School in Arlington, and we're looking to potentially expand that as well. I want to invite any of you who are in Arlington or want to come out and join us on December the 5th at 6:30. We're going to be doing an open house and kind of a Christmas celebration. Yes, I said Christmas. And basically just an opportunity for the students to share what they're doing. This is the same program that in March of 2016 was recognized by the White House as a bright spot for Latino education. So we want to continue that. We have continued that program. We want to have an opportunity to share that program with the public. The other thing I'd like to let you know, I haven't been here in a few months, unfortunately, but during the summer, we were able to partner with our sister LULAC program called SAM Jobs for Progress. I don't know if everyone knows, but they have a senior services program that works with seniors here in the community to help them get placed, look for work, get ready to find work, and then get jobs. And they get job training as well. They can go, I think, up to 4 years of working with the community at different job sites, at nonprofits, learning how to reconnect with work life. So I've invited them, hopefully they can come to one of these meetings, Domingo, and share what they do here in Fort Worth. Because they're based out of Circle Drive over at the Resource Center for Tarrant County. And they're doing great work, but they need to, I think, get the word out to our LULAC community as well. And finally, through our national office, we provide a matching fund for scholarships. We have a LULAC council in Denton County. We have a LULAC council in Collin County. We have several LULAC councils in Dallas County that are partnering and bringing dollars down from the national office to award in scholarships. Total, we've given over $100,000 a year. But unfortunately, we don't have a partner LULAC council here in Tarrant County. And we regularly have to tell students in Fort Worth and the other cities here that I'm sorry we don't have a council that sponsors your scholarships. I hope that possibly one of the councils here could work with us to do that so that they can get the matching from the national office and award scholarships. If you do so, I'd be more than glad to work with you to make that happen. So again, my name is Renato de los Santos. My friends also call me Ray de los Santos. I'm one of the few people who actually draws a paycheck from LULAC. So I'm glad to partner with you if that's what you'd like to do. And hopefully we can also bring back some of the very active LULAC youth councils that we had here in Fort Worth years ago. Because that's where you develop the leadership core that will end up being the people walking the blocks, knocking on doors, educating the public about not only the electoral candidates that are here, but any other issues that are going on in the community. So thank you for the opportunity, and if you have any questions, I'll be here afterwards, sitting over there next to Terry Marathon. Thank you.
Any other community announcements? If not, I want to thank another round of, for all the speakers who spoke today. They came in Saturday morning, right? And thank y'all again. Our next Chorizo Menudo breakfast would have been in December, but it's going to be canceled because it's Christmas. So normally nobody shows up during this time period. So no Chorizo Menudo till January. So thank y'all very much. Gracias. Have a great weekend.